Hi, everybody, welcome back to Bog Panda. I'm saying something incredibly clever right now to introduce Mike and I talking about some Alice Cooper news. So thanks for joining us tonight. And hi, I'm Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram. And joining me as always,
I am Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, leave a comment, check out our merch store, then swing back and listen to the world's shortest podcast, Hard No, right here on Bog Panda. And those are coming out daily at this point.
yep.
So every day you can come and get a hard one from us.
Oh, we're gonna make it out. I thought this is the kind of uh plugging segment that I shouldn't even say that because that's gonna cause
See?
problems. So, yeah.
We should get better at plugging stuff. We don't advertise ourselves well enough, I don't
No,
think.
we really, really don't. But really do. You should check out Hard No, folks. It says available as a podcast off of YouTube right now. Also, you can get it on Podbean and many other ones as well. But come to the YouTube channel, watch it there. Watch a lot of videos. Give us some likes. We appreciate it. So cool. As viewers of the Bog Panda Network know, not Dr. Mike and I are big, big, big Alice Cooper fans. And we've been super fortunate to get a bunch of new news on about his upcoming album. Well, both got a little bit of news really on both that are out there, as well as something that I didn't know anything about was happening. It kind of makes sense with anniversary editions, but both Schools Out and Killer have some re-releases that they're out, right? Are they available now, or is
I believe it's pre-order
it
at the
pre-order
time
right
that
now?
we're talking about this.
Either, well, it says below if it's pre-order or out. That's exactly right, just like we said.
I'm going to
So,
check my memory slash the internet
okay,
as we're doing this right now.
yeah, we'll confirm that piece of information. But super exciting stuff. And so, where do you want to start, Mike? Do you want to start after you? I'll stall for a little while longer here. The both Killer and Schools Out, original Alice Cooper group, really, really good stuff. As Mike and I have reviewed those track by track, you can go back and listen to the track by track reviews of those and many, many other Alice albums as well.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that we're going to do, we should probably do reviews of these new editions as well, because there is quite a bit of new content on here. Not so much from the studio, but a lot of live content.
Yeah, which is which is fantastic. And Billion Dollar Babies, and I don't know if that was an anniversary edition or not, but there was a special release of Billion Dollar Babies, which was the Billion Dollar Babies album remastered, and then an entire second disc was that 1973 tour, Billion Dollar Babies, and so you get the Alice Cooper group live and doing a couple of Alice Cooper classics and a ton of Billion Dollar Babies content. So really, really enjoy that set. So these kind of feel like it's going to be more of the same, but it's going to be some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. And like we had said earlier, those are out June 9th.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, if you weren't
Yeah.
paying attention, folks, earlier
Yeah.
when we
If you
said
think you
June.
missed that, you did.
Yeah,
You should go watch it again.
here we go.
It's there.
Maybe we will do an edit.
Yeah.
Yeah, drop in, but yeah. So I agree with you. I think the live content's going to be great. The so for and these concerts were actually not super far apart. I think one was happening in April and one happened in late May, early April and late May of '72. For Killer, it was in Puerto Rico, which I think is going to be pretty kind of cool to hear. And then Miami for Schools Out, and that was the one there. So some pretty cool stuff. So what content are you in terms of? They listed some of the songs that they're remastering or alternate takes, and some of the things that are being included in the live albums. So what were some of your big takeaways of some new content you're going to get that you're excited about?
I'm pretty excited about the live albums. So I'm a huge Black Sabbath fan. I bought the super mega deluxe box set version they put out of their album Paranoid. Paranoid's actually their most popular album in terms of sales. It's not one of my favorites though, even as a huge fan. I think it's okay. It's not the greatest thing ever. It's their most commercially successful record though. But the reason that I ended up buying it is because it came with a ton of live content as bonus features, as well as the album being remastered, but also it came with a remixed version of it, which was originally released but is extremely rare. So it was good mix of live tracks and extra studio stuff. This, I was surprised there's not a lot of studio stuff. We're getting with the Alice stuff, we're getting it's like a couple of like single edits and alternate takes, but not a ton of studio stuff. So these are being released as triple vinyl releases and double CDs for the people. Kids, CDs are like coasters that played music. And so the first music coaster is just going to basically have a remastered album with a few bonus tracks. The second coasters are the ones that I'm way more excited about with these reissues. Kelly and I have talked a number of times about how we prefer some tracks in their live versions, and we're huge fans of live albums in general, and especially live Alice records. And this is what makes me excited because this is original Alice Cooper group in their prime. We're getting, two full live albums. I also like, I'm kind of mixed on this because sometimes, depending on the album and the presentation of it, sometimes I prefer live albums to be one show, and sometimes I like it when they kind of mix it up for different things. These are both taken from one show, and that's what I'm kind of excited about with it because I feel like that's worked really well for the Alice Cooper group. There's a more recent Alice Cooper group live album that we still have to review on here. And from our favorite, I think I can speak for both of us, our favorite up until this point of Alice's live albums, Fistful of Alice, is taken not from one show, but from a couple of shows that he did back to back at the same venue.
Yeah, but and for my money, Fistful of Alice still is like the gold standard of all any live Alice stuff is pretty great. The exception maybe the Alice Cooper show. It's kind of so, but usually live Alice Cooper stuff's really great. Fistful of Alice is just fantastic. Great. If you're not a big Alice fan, haven't really done a lot, it's a pretty good introduction. You get to hear kind of the power and the delivery. It's good stuff. Yeah, I enjoy the live stuff. I enjoyed the $1 Billion Babies packaging that way and kind of getting a chance to listen to the band there. I am intrigued because for the Killer live one, they are doing a early version of Public Animal Number 9, which is one of my favorite Alice songs. So that's going to be really cool. For Killer, they also did provide alternate versions of You Drive Me Nervous, Dead Babies, and Under My Wheels. And so, I mean, Under My Wheels is pretty much a classic. And so it'll be interesting to see how that was mildly reimagined and see that. So I think you're going to get a little bit of everything. If you want to hear some kind of rare cuts, you're going to get that. You're going to get a whole batch of live stuff from 1972 Alice Cooper group awesomeness. How can you go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for these. I'm sure we'll review them on here. We have a lot of stuff that we need to cover with Alice because we still haven't touched on Hollywood Vampires and things like that. We have the Alice Cooper Group live record, and it's this year, right? That's the 50th anniversary of $1 Billion Babies.
Yep.
So I feel like we need to revisit that as well. So we have a lot of Alice stuff in the works.
Yeah, I think it'll be we definitely do. So it's pretty cool. And Alice has some things in the works too. So I want to give you some updates on that if you haven't heard. We have shared in past shows. The game plan was 2 new albums this year, 2023. Well, we're in April, at least, depending when you're watching this, but we're recording this in April of 2023. Still haven't seen anything yet. But the first one, which is the one that Mike and I take personal credit for, since we expressed our strong desire to see Alice do an album with his touring group involving their talents heavily. So he said, great point, Bog Panda, and set about doing that. So there is going to be the first album, which is going to have contributions from the whole band. And this is the Nita Strauss version of the band. I don't think Kane Roberts snuck in on this one. So I think it'll be Nita Strauss. It is going to be that, and tentatively could be titled The Road, because very creatively, they wrote this on the road. And apparently a lot of songs are about being on the road. So it seems like a pretty apt title to me.
Yeah. Uh, from what I was reading, Alice had done an interview where he was kind of discussing all of this. It doesn't sound like it's so much of, and I feel like this is worth saying because Alice has so many concept records. It doesn't sound like it's a story or a concept necessarily about the road, but just the kind of general being traveling and being on the road in general, being a prevailing theme of the record. I'm fine with that. Only because I know the creativity of Alice and his band is going to make something interesting of it. My knee-jerk reaction to it isn't great, to be honest, only because so many bands have done songs about being on the road. But again, then I fall back on it's Alice Cooper, though. So it's going to be an interesting spin on it that we haven't heard.
Yep. Yeah. Cause, and if you get, Chuck Garrick with Bisto Blanco has been cranking out some tremendous stuff. And so a Chuck Garrick more centric take on the road will be pretty cool. Nita, we just talked about one of her singles that has just come out. She seems to be able to bring it. Ryan Roxy's got a great track record, Roxy 77 and other stuff. So Tommy Hendrickson's just a brilliant studio guy and musician. So I think we're going to get really good music. I do think it's not a earth shattering topic. Like, well, no one's ever thought to do this before. And the captions will correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think the Kinks put out a double live album called The Road that was and actually wrote a song specifically for it related to being on the road. So captions below are going to reflect on how many gray cells I have left, if I'm remembering things correctly. But yeah, so it's not necessarily a new topic, but it's going to be an Alice Cooper treatment of the topic. So that'll be pretty awesome.
Yes, and he also alludes to the second album. So he says this one's coming very soon. Doesn't give a specific date, just that it'll be very soon, and of course this year. And he does allude to the second album that he's working on as well, but says that he can't share any details about that yet.
Yeah. Yes, he promised not to share the title or what's kind of going on with it, which is intriguing. So that will be fun to kind of see what that's all about. But and I have
Any thoughts, any speculation, sir?
I know that historically and kind of the great mysteries of Alice, there was this whole seven deadly sins idea, song cycle, potential Broadway play that was kind of being toyed around with. And so that has been around for a long time as a concept. So kind of seven deadly sins from Alice could be interesting, but that's about the only thing I can kind of come up with right now. How about you? Got any ideas?
I don't know. It's hard to say because I mean, he did. I feel like we're coming off a very, you know, Detroit garage rock sort of cycle between the last album and EP and everything that he had done. Um, I would, of course, like to see more original Alice Cooper group. So maybe we're gonna get an album that's heavier on that. Or of course, it could always be another Steven centric album.
That would all of those are good options from there. Or maybe just a K-pop remix of Lace and Whiskey. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that.
That would elevate both K-pop and Lace and Whiskey. So I think that's a good thing.
Can't go wrong. There's so are you familiar with Linkin Park, the band?
Superficially.
So I'm not much deeper into them. I'm not a fan of their music. I'm not knocking their music. It's just not my kind of thing. Also, there's a rapper, Jay-Z. I fall into the same category on. Pretty indifferent to the stuff that he does. They did an EP together where they did mashups of their songs, significantly better than either act, in my opinion. So when you said that's what I initially thought of. That might work.
Yeah, it could. And Lace and Whiskey could use some punching up. So if K-pop does it, awesome. go back and listen to our review on Lace and Whiskey, and you'll see my case for why I think it needs to be better. So,
There's so much K-pop talk in there.
yeah, well, not so much that. A lot of Lace and Whiskey talk, as you would expect in a Lace and Whiskey review. So, anything else, sir?
No, I think that covers it.
Cool. Well, really appreciate you folks watching. Be sure to subscribe, give the video a like if you enjoyed our content, and check out that merch store. Cool t-shirts abound. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Bog Panda.